Hey there, Geometry Cats. Today we are going to be looking at 5.2a. Make that a little bit smaller so we can actually see it. We are starting our special segments in triangles. Hooray! And there was much rejoicing among the people. Alright, we're going to continue extension on perpendicular bisectors a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have special segments, and then we're going to have a special point they make. And then we're going to learn properties about those special segments and those special points. The first one I want to talk about is the circumcenter. Okay? The circumcenter is formed by perpendicular bisectors. Okay? And they intersect at a point, at this point called the circumcenter. And these are your perpendicular bisectors that form that point. So if you cut each line in half and draw straight up from it with a 90-degree angle. Okay? And what's neat about these are always equidistant. And I guess I gotta put 4 here. This point is the same distance away from each of the vertices of the triangle. So each of the corners, as you would say in the olden days. Okay? What makes the circumcenter so unique is that if I take this point and make a circle, that point would be the center of the circle that houses all 3 of the vertices of a triangle. So like if you were planning an amusement park and you want to put the water fountain the same distance away from 3 of the rides, you would actually find the circumcenter, and wherever you placed it, it would be the same distance away from each of those 3 attractions. Okay? So for this one, my perpendicular bisectors were PE, PD, and PF. Poof. And my circumcenter was P, because that is the point at which they all intersect. Now, what are all my congruent segments? Ugh. Well, each side gets cut in half, right? So I have B is congruent to EC. I have, what's that color? I have this side I gotta deal with too, right? So I have BD to DA. I have down here, right? I have AF and FC. Right? And then lastly, I have all my 4 dashed lines, right? This one, and this one, right? Look at that cool design I made. It's like a propeller. So you'd have BP is congruent to PC, which would be congruent to PA. All these 3 things are congruent to each other. What does this all mean? Good question. I'm happy you asked. And if you didn't, why aren't you asking questions? Alright, so let's take a look at one. Z is the circumcenter of TUV. So this right here is my circumcenter. What that means is each of these is perpendicular, right? Let's also mark out what it means. These are going to be perpendicular bisectors, right? So each of these sides is going to be cut in half because by definition that's what the circumcenter does. Okay? Now we know each of these are cut in half. And what else do we know? We know that this point is equidistant away. It's the same distance away from each vertex. So I'm going to put a blue mark there. So all those are congruent. And once I know that, I can start filling in stuff. I love filling in stuff. So like if this whole length, let's find TU first. So TU. This is 19. Then this piece is 19. So TU is going to be 19 plus 19, which is 38. right? Right, Mr. Terwilliger? Thanks, pal. What about Vy? So Vy is right here. Well, if the whole length is 34, if I divide that by 2, each piece would have to be 17 because they're equal. Yellow. Why would I be yellow? And what about UZ? Ooze. Well, UZ is congruent to V, right? So that's 21. That would be 21. And nextly, WV, right? WV. Gee, how am I going to find WV? That's 15, that's 21. If I put that there, that's a right triangle, right? And you remember yesterday how we talked about Pythagorean Theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I got to set that up. So I'm going to go VW or VZ squared, or you can call A squared. That's what I'll probably do. Plus 15 squared equals 21 squared. All right. Now, when I do that, I get x squared plus 225 equals 441. Subtract, I get x squared equals 216. Square root both sides. And I get x is approximately 14.7. I changed it to an x, didn't I? A, that could be an A. I apologize. If you want to do a squared plus b squared, those are all a's. It's 14.7. But anyway, WZ would be 14.7. And then TV. So if this is 14.7, then this piece is 14.7. So I add them both up to get the whole thing, which would be 29.4. Fun stuff, right? Let me pause for time. 7:36. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end you actually. I'm going to make a different video for in-center, one for each segment. Enjoy!